Welcome to Marriage Motivation. Our love verse for today is coming from Matthew chapter 1 verse 21, and it says, "And she shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins." Do you ever think about some of the pet names that you had as a child, or if your family would call you, little nicknames, and what they actually meant? Sometimes if you think about them, they could have been names that were hurtful, or it showed how much they cared about you, little things that you would do. And very often when we grow older, we don't want people to call us by those nicknames anymore. Don't call me Scooter, or don't call me Chip or Muffin anymore. We feel we've outgrown those names. You ever think about what Mary might have called Jesus when he was younger? Any nicknames? Because sometimes when we get angry, or if she was upset with him, "Jesus of Nazareth, get in here right now and clean this room." It's funny how when we get upset with people, what names we actually use to call them by. I was actually even sharing with a couple who've been married over 40 years now, almost 50 years, and the wife was sharing with me the pet name that her husband calls her. But she says, "I know whenever I've done something to get him upset, he will call me by my full name. Margaret Ann, would you please come here?" So she knew that when he called her by her full name, that something was wrong. And she would actually get sort of defensive, prepare herself so that she could come up with whatever argument or be prepared for what was about to be said. And I want to recognize, and you to be aware of that, how we use our names and how we pronounce, or how we encourage one another, or even discourage one another by the names that we call one another. A name is used for two purposes: for identification and for a description. It identifies the person you're talking to, but it also carries a description about who they are. Sometimes if you ever work in the medical field or any field, when you see people's names, it's like, wow, their mother actually named them that? Really? Because sometimes we don't think about the importance of a name. And the scripture says that a good name is better to be had than great wealth. So we have to make sure that we carry a good name. But I want to encourage you today that when you're sharing, or when you're speaking, or having a discussion with your spouse, don't use their full name when you're upset with them, or any other derogatory name that you may come up with. But use their pet name, the name that their sweet name, or the name that brings endearment to them, whether it's sweetheart, or peaches, or precious, or honey pie, sugar pie. When you're in a discussion, make a special effort to use your name of endearment, their pet name. Because what it does, it makes you, when you speak, it causes you to speak in a more loving tone. Because when you say sweetheart, it actually changes the tone that you're speaking in. And we know that when we speak, our tone of voice is almost like 38% of the impact of what is heard. So when we speak, use that sweet name. And it also impacts the listener, your spouse who's hearing you, because it makes them hear in a different tone. It makes them respond differently, because when you said sweetheart or sugar daddy, or whatever you call your spouse, it makes what you said seem more loving. Even though it may be something that's difficult to hear, because you wrapped it with their pet name, it causes them to hear it in a more respectful tone. So take that advice today. Use your sweet or pet names even when you're upset with your spouse, so that it will have an impact on how you say, what you say, and it will be heard in a more loving tone. All right, we love you, and I pray for peace in your home. I pray for prosperity in your life, and I pray for passion in your marriage. God bless you.